recordings. Alright. Okay, this is going to be a little bit different. I'm not sure if I'm going to I'll do more conscious connections here. So we're going to take a kind of a deep dive. So some of us are, obviously everybody's connected to spirit always, they're just not always aware of it. Probably just as well. But I can go into my little details of my connection with the spirit world. My share my experiences with it. It's not that much. Remember when I started out? This is back in 2011. I learned how to do a meditation to clear energy, clear my vibration. As for how successful that was, another story. But either way, it has some success. I remember putting the intentions of connecting with spirit, and feel like everybody's on cocaine. I wasn't there very long, but I was there for a little bit. Everybody was flying around doing whatever it was. I got kicked out of there. But I gotten a vibe of, so yeah, you are on crack or whatever it is. You are high on life. The way I've been seeing it, you can see it however you want to. It doesn't mean there's a bunch of humans walking around. You can see it like however you want, but it's basically energy beings floating around doing whatever they're going to do. The way I've been seeing it, everybody interprets it differently. My interpretation is like a male and a female energies can get together and create another energy. It's like creating another child, basically. And you can go on, and there's other ways of going about that, but it's pretty easy actually. And I think also you can, when they do that, they actually develop the soul together of what it's going to be like, the characteristics of it, from each other. Kind of combine each other's characteristics into each other, and the soul is created. But of course, the soul that's being created with that is involved with the creation process too. So something around those lines. So not everybody does this. Creator beings do it all the time. They just know how to do it. Let's put it that way. I'm not an expert on all of it, but so did you create yourself? You can say you're involved with your own creation in some regard. Yeah. You're created by two different beings. They put your energies together. They put two different energies together, and it kind of like the soul evolved with that before you were fully created, you can say. So you weren't really created yourself, but you're involved with your own creation. In some way, however you want to look at it. There's a million different ways of looking at it. So where this is going, the other thing is the spirit world is all screwed up. So when you go into the pearly gates and they're perfect and everything. They smell great or don't smell at all, whatever it is. It's no AC or whatever it is. It's perfect reality. But it doesn't mean the soul doesn't have issues. They still have problems. Especially connected to this world, it's all fucked up. Even the positive side has a lot of issues. And you have a neutral side that's a little bit more open to light and dark, and then you have just the dark side. And sometimes a little bit more together than the light ones. At least they know what the hell they're doing sometimes, either way. But that's connected to our world. There's other spirit worlds. Every world has their own spirit world. So, like you have a Palladian world, for example, that's very positive, sixth dimension. You go to their spirit world, everything's fine. Well, nothing's ever fine, but it's, this is not chaotic. It doesn't mean the spirit world here is chaotic, but a lot of beings do have, we put them on a pedestal, like they're all great and wonderful, they're in spirit, but they have their issues too. And we're not always seeing it that way. I don't know. Some don't want to see it. Yeah, I imagine there's a lot. Well, a lot of people don't connect to this anyway, but because I've had a spirit guide that was just horrific. But that was the point. The reason for that, because he didn't care what happened to me. I'm not gonna go into details, but I always had a problem with him. Once I knew there was a spirit guide there, that was the Ulysses guide. I'm not gonna go into details anymore, but either way, I felt him get fired. He put me in a situation that I shouldn't have been in, and he got fired. And I felt him getting pulled away from me. That was fascinating. Other guides came in. I think I fired them later on too. So either way, anyway, but my guides are, yeah, they're around, but they're at a distance sometimes. But either way, yeah, I don't really connect to the spirit guides that much, but so either way, it doesn't matter. So you're in spirit a lot. You're in the spirit world. You're a spirit guide. Say like you're there for 1,000 years, 10,000 years. You kind of, because it's funny though, if you don't have an incarnation going on, you might have an incarnation, you might have all these incarnations going on, but you have a human incarnation going on that's similar to this world. And if you don't, you kind of have to start, like if you already did like eons ago, but you say, I'm not going to incarnate in this world again. So you go into spirit and become a spirit guide and do it that way. And you have other incarnations on other places. But you forget a lot of stuff since you had an incarnation, like on a world like this. There's probably more you can go into it, but I'll just use this world for example. So if you had an incarnation here like they're in Atlantis, it's like, okay, I've had enough of this place. So you go into spirit help there, you might be a spirit guide, you might be wherever it is. And now you come into, let's say now, and so you want to assist and incarnate here. Problem is you forgot a lot of stuff. I mean, yeah, you have the knowledge, but you kind of lost the experience. You're not used to having hardships here, as much as you might think so. You think you can handle it until you get here. So there's knowledge, yeah, stored in astral. But some beings can retrieve it and incarnate fine here, but not all can. Some they think they can retrieve astral knowledge here. They incarnate. I can remember everything since whenever I was here back in Atlantis, for example, and they download that into themselves, but it doesn't always come through clearly. So you have to go through some of the lessons they already learned in the past. So that's why you have difficult people in your life to speed things up, to help you remember who the hell you are. It's like you get kicked in the ass, basically. You wonder why certain people are in your lives because you haven't been here a long time. And so that's why some people live chaotic lives. Not everybody. That's just the way they are. So it's kind of like a refresh. It's like, oh, now I remember. It's kind of like you get hit in the head so many times eventually until you start remembering how it is to be on this world. Because you forget. If you're in a world that's, spirit world is perfect, and you haven't had an incarnation here in a long time, you'd be surprised what you remember, but the experience is not there anymore. As like anything else in life, you forget something, even in this world, you haven't done it in a long time. It's just like, I'm just trying to figure out, I'm trying to figure stuff out here. And that's just in this life. So, yeah, it's kind of, I don't know, complicated, but, the astral is like the architect of the reality of our world. It's like where everything's put together. Everyone has their own interpretation of it. There's a secret space program, is this, or that, is everything, freaking bizarre. Willy Wonka is everything, so. But in spirit, it doesn't have it like that. I mean, it's perfect, but everybody's messed up. Well, not everybody, but, good portion, especially on this world. There's still a lot of, they're more open there, they're more talkative to each other, they're more free with each other, but when they come here, they close up. Then spirit, everybody's open and talk about everything, and everybody's cool, but when they incarnate here, it's a different version of them. It's like they just can't do it. So we're teaching spirit a lot by being here. So it's kind of weird. It's like some people wonder why they go through what they go through. Um, it's like, oh, I'm just trying to, because it's, you go through these same scenarios and just trying to figure out, it's like, what is it trying to tell you? Why you keep running into the same people over and over again? It's kind of complicated in some ways, but once you learn your lesson, you go to the next level, and the whole life timeline changes. Like some people feel, well, not always, but some, why they're at the same job every time. That's not always the case, but sometimes you're there for certain reasons that, there's a million reasons. Everybody's situation is different. But yeah, the spirit world is not, we're helping them jog their memory. As we evolve and understand the spirit world becomes more clear here. As we more recognize it. Right now, it's not talked about. You don't hear it on the evening news. It's laughed at. It's this and that. It's not recognized for obvious reasons. But when it becomes more accepted in society, then yeah, aliens and your spirit world come through. So it's just I guess it's cool not to know. uh, yeah, like this, the world doesn't understand death still. I mean, it doesn't get over it. No, it does, but still, there's a lot of things it can repair, of course. But at least that's one. I don't know if anybody's going to understand anything with the home talking about, but the main thing is that souls in spirit, they don't incarnate on certain levels. There's always an incarnation they're doing, but a lot of them do the easy ones. Be a butterfly somewhere or be a pony. But you be a construction worker on Earth, it's like, I'm not into that. So it's like, okay, all these incarnations I could have had, though I would have had knowledge here to do a mission. It's like, okay, I just said no to all of that. So now the Earth needs me, or I feel like the Earth needs me, or whatever it is. So you incarnate and go through a lot of trials and tribulations. So yeah, you kind of have to. It's like you have like a 10 or 20 year beat up session, and then the next part of your life is to go in a direction that you're, it could have been easier another way, but who knows? Everybody operates differently. So, but yeah, astral, yeah, because one thing I felt like some souls can like have a Atlantis incarnation. I'm just using it for example, and then incarnate now and download what they need from astral, and have no problem here. But not everybody can do that. I think it's very few souls that can do that. They just download the lessons. It's like, okay, you come from door A and B. B is probably the bad one, and A is the good one. So instead of go to B, you go to A. You just have a sense of things. You avoid problems. Not everybody has that. Or obviously going to run into some kind of issues, but some do run into situations they probably could have avoided, but the soul need to learn from that, so you run into that, either way. Some souls just know how to avoid collision. Let's put it that way. So, alright, we'll go to a level of that. We'll see what, I'm not sure if we're going to dive a bit further into that. If there's anything else to say. Yeah, we're looking to let's see, archangel energies to give us another aspect of that reality. So, alright, blessings. Here we go. Greetings, this is Archangel Michael. Well, souls come here to start from scratch. Not always intentionally, but some need to redo themselves. Rehabilitation. Because in spirit, a soul can be maneuvered. They can go sometimes in the wrong direction of their own, meaning they can learn less. They're so used to the easy realms, they just choose the easy lives. And they also get afraid of hardship. Not that you have to look for it or put yourself in a situation, but they do forget what that feels like. They're almost terrified that things happen wrong, bad to them. That's where the soul truly grows. That's where it truly advances. Not that you have to have it constantly happening to you. But some souls are absolutely terrified of that. So that's why some souls on this world, instead of choosing hardship, go through health problems. Instead of going through life ordeals, they just choose a... Like some people, yes, have like a almost perfect life, and then they have cancer. So they chose a different route. Of course, the cancer route is not always the best, but many have health. Yeah, you can blame your elite all you want. The soul still has a choice. The soul is still in charge. If you want to be a victim, the victim world is right there for you. The soul still chooses what to go through. Now you can have hardship, like you have a child that's difficult, or you can have a cancer energy instead, or you can have your own health problems, for that matter, on different levels. It's just that the soul's journey is very, complicated. Spirit can get lost. So it needs worlds like this. That's why the astral realm can't always answer either. It can put you in situations to make things even difficult here. Where you can't escape. Some souls get lost here, yes, of course. They get absolutely lost in the abyss of darkness, of their own mistakes, and continue. That's why alcoholism, drugs is there. It's like the poisons there just to keep you in a loop and go nowhere. But some, yes, are alien energies that incarnate here from other worlds to change things here. A soul that is lost from spirit from this earth, that's lost, an alien being from another reality, from another world, from a different way of mind, can come here and change that. This is why this is why you all connect in the way you do. The alien is to the rescue. Sometimes. Not always. But a lot of souls, yes, choose financial hardships. You choose your battles, yes. Or yes, you have relatives that are difficult on many levels. You choose what you need to go through. No one's ever quite perfect here, and if those are perfect, there's usually some kind of setback somewhere. A lot of souls here that have had used to perfection can't handle stress. Some of the higher dimensional beings, once they hit stress levels, explode. So many of you, why you incarnate so much, especially in a world like this, is you handle the stress. Somebody has to do it. So to help others through stress. Some of you just can handle stress no matter what. Yeah, your lives might be a mess. But you can handle stress quite well. You're used to, and that's very important. It is important to be leaders, to be many things. A teacher, to understand chaos, and to take chaos and turn it into calmness. That is an advanced being. Now, everyone here is advanced, but not everybody's used to this, and you learn from each other, of course, too. Is like, why you do it? Because you show you have a world that's very troubled, and you bring calmness to it, and the crimes here begin to end. Human trafficking begins to end. Some souls here just love the human trafficking. Not that they enjoy the human trafficking, but the vibration it brings off. Some get a high off of it. Some just have lessons they just cannot learn for anything too. But also the human trafficking does blind souls here too, where they can't solve themselves. They can't get themselves out of trouble. They can't figure themselves out. They're kind of under a spell. And there's many spells here, yes. And ideas to break out. This is why so many, once again, why you reincarnate sometimes. Yes, you fall, you go through this, you become a ghost for a long time, but you strengthen yourself to handle the chaos. That's why reincarnation on worlds that are difficult, easy, keeping a flow going so you don't forget. Because when you forget, if you haven't incarnated in a long time, yeah, kind of like starting all over. And some realize that. It's like, yeah, I've been in spirit, I'm an old soul, but I feel like I'm going through all this hell. It's like, I'm just remembering all the stuff I forgot, aren't I? Yes. Some are. Not everybody. As you understand your spiritual self, you're opening up the doorway to spirit as you go into the higher dimensions. As you go into the higher dimensions, 5D or spirit D, because many of you are going to open up realms where you can just leave when it's time to die. You just leave. Now that happens now, but there's a bunch of tears everywhere. Where you're heading, there won't be any tears. You're just going to another realm. That's all it is. It's just you're just there, and your family here can still see you. That's the idea. So yes, connecting to spirit energies, to understand it, to argue with it, to not like it, whatever it might be. Disagreements with it, whatever it is. The more you doesn't have to understand everything, but the more you have an idea of what it is like there, does help your own journey and your own vibration. Yes, the spirit world is not perfect. It's yes, it does not go through it doesn't have to change clothes. It can think and put clothes on itself. Most of them aren't human anyway, they're just spirit energies, but if you have to be human. And there's a lot of stubborn souls in spirit, of course, too, that some of you have dealt with. Some are, some are spiritual teachers. They think they know everything, you find out they know nothing. Yes, they have some information from the Akashic records, but the ego there just makes it unbearable for them to be around them. Well, the soul has hit a level of arrogance, and that happens in spirit, too. Healing an arrogant soul is very difficult. And similar to of course, the word just came out of my mind for a good reason. A narcissistic soul. A lot of narcissists they have knowledge about themselves, but not of anything else. They make themselves look exciting. When they don't care about their Akashic records, they just want everybody to pay attention to them. It's kind of like either way, it's because they're not willing to go into the depths as many of you are going through. They just want everybody to pay attention to them and take knowledge. Try the easy ticket. Some are like that. Yeah, narcissism is like they're trying to be the easy ticket on many levels. Yeah, they don't like hearing that, do they? And yes, there are narcissists in your spirit realms. Yes, they're putting makeup on themselves right now. Yeah, it's like they're like movie stars. Not in the traditional sense, like, yeah. I think you understand what we're getting at. But yes, the soul, easily gets lost in spirit. Well, if they don't pay attention to this planet, whatever world they wanted to pay attention to. For many, meaning that many, like, they connect to Arcturian world, a Zeta world, but when they come to this planet, they think they have the knowledge and can handle it. And then they end up being a suicide eventually. They get fetishes and things like that, or just lose themselves altogether. Through alcoholism or whatever it might be. They just lose themselves. And that's part of the arrogance of a soul. Not always. But some don't listen to the warnings. They figure they got it all figured out. Think again. So, where a soul advances the most, it's through the family energies, but also through one's talents. Is to, instead of look at the bigger picture, the wealth, to look at the small details of your own existence. The small details that matters most. It's so easy to look at the lights and everything, but the details, the little things, what matters most. Yeah, because once the lights are off, What do you have? It's like there's a lot of millionaires, billionaires have lost their souls. But on your world, they look like great. But after they leave here, they're in lower astral and bitter as hell. And we get to listen to it and listen to them talk about themselves for 500 years. Some of you have been part of those conversations and deny they did anything wrong. So yes, some entrepreneurs that are very devilish to humanity. You can say, yeah, Amazon.com is one of them, where it does a lot of hardships to people. Obviously, as well, depending on how you look at it, there's a lot of denial there that did anything wrong. At least the founder of it is saying that it is. And yes, there's many other beings involved, but still there's a lot of denial there. As some of you can connect to it. And some of you have been to those conversations. Some of it is an astral. Once again, denial. A lot of these giant companies on your world are very small in astral. They're just small. Here they're big, which fascinates everyone. You have this nice table. You have nature. You have all this, and you have these like little bitty companies, and they come to this world, and they're huge. You say humanity's not really looking at the big picture. Yes, survival, but not seeing nature, not seeing Agartha, not seeing your alien beings, not seeing Atlantis. It's missing a lot of things, as you can see. There's a lot more than that, but I think you understand. There's a lot of mysteries of the earth you can't be unraveling right now instead of worrying about a pandemic situation, which is, yes, should be taken seriously. But the healing process is done through the mind, the soul, on many levels, where you don't have to have fear of it. You can understand the vibrations, where it's at, where it's coming from, and avoid it altogether and not receive it at all. Or you can just forget all of that and go and experience it. This is why understanding spirit, the astral realms, is at least giving the idea that you would like to have that knowledge connecting to you. Doesn't mean it's going to happen fast, but you allow it to transition your life as you move into a more of a hyper active reality. The idea of connecting to spirit is to heal the third dimension, or heal the challenges of this reality, to get through challenges, to laugh through the challenges, maybe psychotically, but still laugh through it and survive it, and to heal it and get through it quickly instead of going through it for 10 years. And obviously there's some serious moments, of course, that is necessary, because there's a lot of deep learning there that we can't always go into full detail, because the soul, there's many contracts that not even us as a channeled energy can tap into. We can't always see everything here. But humanity will have an awakening to the spiritual realms, as it already is kind of right now, unconventionally. Oh yes, there's an elephant death going on in your, was it Africa, I believe? Yes. Some of that is alien related. Some of that is retaliation against humanity. Some beings want the earth to crumble, and many of you say no. It's also connected to an alien elephant collective, kind of retaliation against them. So we can't, some of these alien beings cannot connect to the elephant alien beings, but they can go after the animals on your planet. So however you want to look at that. Yeah, the animals on your earth are protecting your world the best of their knowledge. The elephants, those definitely. As more humans allow the spiritual ideas to come through, many just laugh about it and say that's not real. But as you allow the crazy to come in more to your reality, be surprised how much you can heal, how much you can go forward, how many problems you can, how many divorces you can avoid, how much soul healing you can do, avoid problems. As the soul here is in denial, they can rest, meaning this world exists because the problems here, the humans aren't learning from their lessons, as many of you noticed. So it continues on and on and on. Other souls get addicted to it, other souls get lost, and they get pulled into the same lessons that they've already learned in other incarnations, but they forgot through manipulation. And you'd be surprised how seductive this planet is. So yeah, it is known to make the same problems over and over again, same mistakes over and over. That has to do with the manipulation here of the soul just forgetting. But see, what's different here is that, yes, a spirit being can forget, but there's entities here that erase a lot of lessons. This is why souls keep doing the same thing over again. Once you realize, like, I keep making the same mistakes, what am I doing wrong? And you can get a message there and a direction, but many hear it but say, oh, that's not true. And then they go through it again. Happens all the time. Not trusting what's around them. Now, understand you can't trust everything, but for most of the time, it's a positive vibration. There's some tricksters here, but they're not as powerful as some might think. Yes, when you add alcohol and drugs to it, yes, that's a different story. That's when the soul gets derailed into lower astral. Obviously, you can test the waters, understand the lower Coke is like a connection to the lower astral beings, depending on what dosage you're getting. It's just, the idea is, yes, to connect with spirits to see future timelines. Yes, to avoid lessons that do not need to be learned, and go more to your higher. It's like an obstacle course. Can you miss without getting hit? To win, to go to the next level, to grow your soul, to attract what you need to attract, to go to your soul's highest potential. And victimize, some go into a victim mode. You can go into any mode you want, but when opportunity does open, as it does, it might be scary, but you'd be surprised what you can attract. Blessings.